I don't buy into most of the bullshit on here at all, but I had an experience a few years back that I really can't shake. Has anybody else had something like this happen to them? June 2017. GF and I are moving from Connecticut to Los Angeles. Decide to donate/sell off most of our shit, load up our cars with whatever we can fit, and drive them out there. A lot cheaper than shipping them and flying out. Plan is to take the northern route, I-80, to I-70, to I-15, a little under 3,000 miles door to door, trying to get it done in 5 days, 4 nights, 10 hours a day for the first 4 days, and then 5 hours on the last day so we could get the keys to our apartment before the leasing office closed. Leaving on Monday morning and plan to land in LA on Friday afternoon. Don't book any hotels in advance because I don't want to deal with canceling, changing reservations, in case we decide to go further on one day or shorter on another, etc. Settling in to watch GF in the rear view like a hawk to make sure she doesn't drive off the road or some shit and listen to Game of Thrones audiobooks for 45 hours straight. End of the first day we stop at a comfy little Hampton Inn with a really good continental breakfast in Elyria, Ohio. Back on the road for day 2. Get separated at a toll booth after about 4 hours on the road. Hungry. Need to piss. Traffic is terrible. It's basically raining buckets. Fuck it. I'm getting off the next exit. Follow me. TFW. I see the welcome to Gary in sign. Wolfed down some Taco Bell at a truck stop. Terrified that a crackhead is going to smash out the back window of the car and start looting all of my worldly possessions. Back on the road. About 5 hours later. Cruising down I-80 through Iowa. Nothing but corn, as far as the eye can see. Decide to stop for the night and call my GF. Let her know that we'll be getting off the next exit with a sign for hotels. Few miles later I see a sign for a Holiday Inn Express off the next exit. Exit ramp basically shoots you straight off into the middle of a cornfield. Driving through the corn for like 10 fucking minutes. Standard county or state or whatever sign with the town name and population. Sawtell Pop 7, XXX, LF, can't fucking remember. Sign gives me a chuckle. The apartment we're moving into in Los Angeles is in a neighborhood called Sawtell. Starting to feel a weird vibration and sort of buzzing noise in the car. A little worried that it might be some kind of mechanical problem. Buzzing, humming vibration is getting worse and worse. Super low wavelengths. Deep noise that feels like it's coming from inside your skull. GF calls me and says I think my car is making a weird noise. Should we pull over? We'll check it out at the hotel. Mine's doing the same thing. Did you see that sign? We're in Sawtell. It's not quite what I expected it to be, but at least the drive was short. Fuck. Look at that thing. Gigantic power grid substation whatever the fuck. Size of 3 city blocks with all kinds of high voltage lines shooting off from it, branching out in every direction, through the cornfields, and off towards the little town that I can now see. The substation is literally vibrating with electricity. The windows in my car are rattling. Follow the signs for the Holiday Inn. A few miles further down the road. Buzzing, vibrating lessens as we get further away from the grid, but never stops completely. Pull into the hotel's parking lot and I'm immediately motherfucking myself for not making a reservation. The lot is absolutely packed with cars. For some reason, the Holiday Inn Express in Sawtell, Iowa was absolutely slammed on a random Tuesday night in the middle of June. Have to circle around to the back to find a couple of parking spots. Only 2 spots left in the entire parking lot, right next to one another. Retrospectively pretty fucking weird, but at the time was just relieved to find a place to park. Leave our bags in the car, expecting the clerk to tell us there are no vacancies. Can still feel the substation vibrating in my skull, but getting accustomed to it. Standard looking Holiday Inn Express, pick related, from the outside, just in the middle of a cornfield. Step inside. Absurdly low ceiling, like 6 feet 2 inches tops, almost banging my head on it as I walk over to the desk. All the lighting inside is blue, not like cheap LED that's so white it reads as blue, but not like police siren blue either, somewhere in between. Nobody at the desk. I ring the bell. My hand is literally still on the ringer when the door behind the desk opens. Skinny little blonde fella in a Holiday Inn shirt steps out, smiling at us. "Hey, you don't happen to have any rooms open, do you?" Still smiling, the guy looks back and forth between me and my GF. His smile widens a little. "Rooms," he says, almost slurs. "Man, WTF, how did I pick the one hotel in the state that has no vacancies and a strung out clerk?" "Yes, I do have a rooms for you," he says. Sweet relief. He looks at my GF. "Do you need a rooms as well?" I tell him one room will be fine for the two of us. "Very well, one rooms." While he pokes at the keyboard, I grab my DL and a credit card and slide them across the counter to him. He's taking fucking forever to process the transaction. GF asks him if there's anywhere nearby to grab some dinner. He tells her that if we continue down the road for another few miles we'll find a gas station, the town proper, and a place to eat your dinners. "Okay, you fucking weirdo, just give me the room keys." Send GF up to the room, run back out to the cars to grab our suitcases. Notice all the license plates on the other cars are from Iowa. Weird. So it's all locals staying here. Maybe there's a water park nearby or something. Almost back to the hotel door when I realize that there are literally only 3 different kinds of cars in the entire parking lot. F-150, Chevy Malibu, old Chevy Trailblazers, all different colors, all different years. But I swear to God there were 3 different model cars in that parking lot. That's it. Must have been 80 or 100 cars in the lot, and every single fucking one was an F-150, Malibu, or Trailblazer. Back inside, heading up to the room, 3rd floor, decide to take the elevator, because fucking hoofing this broad's 400-pound suitcase up the stairs. The weird elevator hit buttons for floor 614. Building is 4 stories max. GF is sitting at the foot of the bed, about to tell her that every hillbilly fucker in Sawtell seems to be generationally obligated to buy one of 3 different types of car and that the elevator will apparently blast you through the roof if you want. She cuts me off, wants to go get some dinner pronto. Back to traipsing all over the fucking hotel, but okay, I'm pretty hungry too. Head back down to the cars. I have to repack some shit to free up the passenger seat, but she doesn't want to take 2 cars for dinner. Heading deeper into the cornfield, allegedly towards the town. Children of the corn and Slipknot jokes abound. Drive past a few long, unpaved driveways that led off into more fucking cornfields. Presumably old farmhouses back in there. Sun is starting to set. Hard to make much of anything else out. It's quiet for a few minutes, and I'm starting to doubt if we're ever going to find a place to eat. GF turns to me and asks kind of softly, "Did you see anybody else at the hotel?" I think for a second. Nope, neither did I. Isn't it weird with all those cars? Did you hear anybody? Even? I don't think I even heard anybody. Starting to get the heebie-jeebies. Contemplate telling her about the cars all being the same, but decide against it. Spin some bullshit about how all the other hotel guests are probably out at some local bounce castle park or water slide or some bullshit. Doesn't really explain why their cars are all still there. Finally see a restaurant up ahead. As we get closer I realize it's a Friendly's. Weird. Thought that was a New England thing. GF is super sentimental for Friendly's, and immediately forgets about the spooky ghost hotel as she starts rambling about what flavor fribble, that is, milkshake, that she's gonna get 3 other cars in the parking lot. A late model F-150, red, an early Zeros Malibu, gray, and an early Zeros Trailblazer, black. Head inside. There's a few other tables of people. Realize that the thrumming from the substation is gone. Must finally be far enough away from it. Old lady hobbles over and seats us. GF is beaming as she pours through the menu, rambling about which items are best. I start easing up a little bit, feeling more at ease being back in the land of the living, even if it is kind of quiet in here and it smells like a bottle return. Old lady waitress comes back to take our order. I get a hamburger and a Coke. GF gets a strawberry fribble and some onion rings. GF asks the octogenarian waitress if there's anything special going on in town. Seems there's a lot of people at the hotel. Mumbles something indiscernible in reply and shuffles back towards the kitchen. Bullshitting. Killing time. Waiting on our food. laughing at how this fucky little corner of the Twilight Zone has the same name as the spot we're moving to. If Soundscapes in Los Angeles is as bad as this, we're just turning around and getting back on the highway heading east. Waitress reappears with our food, starts setting plates down, absolutely baffled by the shit that she is on my plate. There's a frozen patty, with the little wax paper circle on one side of it, on one side of the plate, and a sesame seed bun, still closed, on the other side, with a bunch of ketchup drizzled all over the top of the bun. Look across at what this dingbat is setting down in front of my GF, trying to pick my jaw up off the floor. Bowl of chopped raw onions with another hamburger bun torn up into little pieces tossed on top of them, and a cup full of what looked like half-chewed strawberries with milk poured over the top of them. My brain is literally unable to process what the fuck is going on. Are they trying to haze out off-towners? Have we offended Methuselah in some way? GF looks like she's about to cry, is sputtering. Wait, what is this? Waitress is looking back and forth between the food and the two of us. Is this not what you wanted? I start looking around at the other tables, realize none of them are eating, or drinking, or really doing fucking anything at all, just sitting, staring at each other, murmuring. I tell the waitress that we are leaving, grab GF's hand, dragging her out of the restaurant, look back over my shoulder as I push the exit door open. Heart immediately drops down through my balls. The three other tables of people are literally frozen, mouths half open, hands reaching out in paralyzed gestures. Top of fourth gear before I was out of the parking lot. Told GF we would not be staying the night in Sawtell, Iowa. Get back to the hotel. Substation humming is almost unbearably loud. Put her in her car. Tell her to lock the doors. I speed well back into the hotel. Jog up the stairs to the third floor. Grab our shit. Run back down. Front desk weirdo is nowhere to be seen. Race back out into the parking lot. Throw our bags in my passenger seat. Peel back out onto I-80. Call GF as soon as we were on the highway. Trying to calm one another down. Decided there must have been some towny conspiracy to spook us out. Drove about 20 more miles. Hit a town called Altoona. Pulled off. Found a room at a sparsely occupied La Quinta. And went to bed hungry. Finished our trip without further issue. Checked my credit card statement a day or two after we arrived in LA. Never got charged for that night at the Holiday Inn in Sawtell. A couple days after we finished moving into our apartment in Los Angeles, we met up with some friends who had moved out here a few years back. Of course, they asked us all about the trip out, and we regaled them with all the weird, creepy shit that happened in Sawtell, Iowa. They wanted to see some pictures of the place, especially the friendlies and the substation, so I fired up Google Maps to show them. Small problem, though. A town called Sawtell, Iowa doesn't exist. No such place. I hopped on the friendlies store locator, and New York is as far west as they go. My GF and I are both straight-laced people. No real drug use, no mental illness, no heavy drinking. We weren't that tired when we got there, to Sawtell, or wherever we were. Has anybody else experienced anything like this? It was 3 years ago, and we escaped unscathed. I'm not totally positive that the town doesn't exist, at least in some form or fashion. Maybe some kind of electromagnetic, I don't fucking know. Waves scrambled my brain or trashed my recollection of the town's name, or my ability to read the sign. I recognize that sounds insane. Probably is insane. I just don't think that this could have been a real, corporeal place that fucking phased out of existence. But I don't think it was a shared delusion either. If I had been alone, I'd probably chalk everything up to a little sleep deprivation and emotional exhaustion on my part, mixed with a little caginess about getting victimized by flyovers in the middle of a cornfield 1,500 miles away from home. Perhaps my above description of what happened to the other friendlies patrons was unclear. It wasn't like they snapped into fiendish, inhuman poses and twisted their faces into demonic gaping grins. They all just sort of froze, like if they were the animatronics on the It's a Small World ride at Disney and the power to the park got cut. I related the events outlined in my original post here to a buddy of mine who is into some of the paranoid schizophrenic tier theories and philosophies that get play on boards like X. He theorized that my experience here was further evidence of the Earth human consciousness being a simulation. He said that really sparsely populated places like the American Midwest and prairie states are basically left unloaded to save system memory until somebody tries to enter. I guess sort of like how a video game needs to pause and load up the next area every so often. He thinks that, essentially, we weren't expected to get off that exit and the simulation was scrambling to write and load a unique town, and combined a bunch of half-baked half-right elements. Really not sure what I make of all that. I'm a normal Catholic boy, don't believe any of that navel-gazing shit about the whole world being a computer simulation or a dream of a brain in a jar, etc., etc. But it does really neatly explain what the setting felt like. Virtually everything was at least slightly wrong. From the lighting and ceiling height of the hotel to the smell of the friendlies legitimately smelled 100% like the bottle return room at a supermarket or something. Of course, other things were super duper wrong, like the food we were served and the fact that we did not see a single other person NPC out on the roads in town, in either of the parking lots, etc. We only really saw people when it was, like, necessary for them to be there, except the other diners and the friendlies, I guess. Maybe the computer was trying to save on memory by only drawing up a few different kinds of car,